welcome everyone to another exciting edition of 55 and 5 right here on YouTube and adfreeshows.com. We have AJ, man in the camera. He's our producer from Bisson Creative and Web Design. I'm Ian. This is Cary. We've been going one through all 121.
Our 53rd card upcoming.
Right. And this one, Cary, if you haven't watched this before, you get 5 minutes. Cary and I can talk a lot, so we limit it to 5. It's a 5-minute wrestling history lesson on each member of this 1955 Parkhurst set. Cary, today we have a man who wrestled on one of the first matches broadcast on HBO.
Okay.
That's your hint.
I got a shot.
You got a shot. This guy had a long career, 1950 through 1979. I'm going to place him over our spiritual advisors, Uncle Gunny and Captain Lou.
It had to be at the Garden.
It was at the Garden.
Well, then
you got a shot.
I got a good shot here.
We're going to take a look at the timer, get a time check. Cary, what can you tell me about Mike Paidousis? Oh. Okay, yeah.
Mike Paidousis.
Mike Paidousis. See, he even knows how to say his name. I know.
He was around for a long time.
Yes.
I'm going to maybe...
No.
Ian said this already. I think he had like a 30, or maybe you said he had a 30-year career.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paidousis was around a long time. Matter of fact, I just saw him on, because if I'll go on WWE Network once in a while, I'll go to see, maybe they put a Madison Square, a new, there's like, they have like one show from 73.
And they sneak them on those sometimes.
Couple from 74.
Yeah.
Well, he was in a match with him and Tony Altomore.
Hey, I have that in my notes. Yeah.
Way past their prime.
Right.
Both of them. But, he was the kind of guy that was, like the truck driver.
Yeah.
The guy, the factory worker, but, he was stocky, a little heavy, but he was in good shape. Mm-hmm. Probably wrestled most of his career as a heel. I'm going to say that there was a period of time in his career where he was probably on the top of the card.
Yeah, well, he was a guy, the best analogy would probably be, maybe a Mike Sharp. When Mike Sharp would come into the territory, he'd win a whole bunch, and then he'd be the rule breaker that would come in. He would beat the enhancement guys, and then he'd challenge for the title, not win it, and kind of come back down and then go to another territory. So yeah, he would have that pattern throughout his career. He was an All-American at the University of Tennessee in football. He was on the Eagles practice squad, so he was had legitimate football credentials. He's also a Golden Gloves boxer. So that's pretty interesting. His first big breaks come in NWA Upstate and Toronto, Maple Leaf Wrestling. So that explains why he made the set. He was a rule breaker. He would get wins over the opening match guys, struggled against the name opponents. He'd go to St. Louis, Montreal, Alberta. Comes in real hot and Crockett. He's beaten everybody in 58. Cools off quick. Goes to St. Louis. Wins the Central States title.
There you go.
That's a pretty big accomplishment. He's also simultaneously wrestling as the Black Secret.
Okay.
Which is kind of an interesting thing. And he loses his mask. And this is one of the fun historical oddities. He just loses his mask in a match with Pat O'Connor. Pat O'Connor just takes it off. And they don't try and draw money with it. They just, there it is. It's Mike Paidousis. So that's kind of one of the fun wrinkles. Does Florida, Crockett, Australia in 1965 during the big boom with, the original WCW. There he wrestles Mark Lewin.
Well, if he was good enough for Jim Barnett to bring him to Australia.
Yeah.
He must have been talented.
Absolutely.
Good worker.
He wrestles Mark Lewin, Tex McKenzie, Dory Funk Jr. So Dory Funk Jr. is wrestling by this point. 68 and 71, he tours Japan. He teams with Dick Murdoch. So that's pretty cool. And wrestles Antonio Inoki quite a bit.
Well, that's a hell of a career.
Yeah. Does the IWE in Japan by 73. He's back in WWF in 75. 75 through 79, he's on and off with WWF. And one of the first matches ever broadcast on HBO against Tony.
Probably was that Altomore Paidousis bout.
It was, which you can find online.
You can find it online, and the ring announcer was Friendly Bob Freed, who had a very tough time pronouncing names. And he's like, and he was, like the ring announcer would say, San Martino, right?
Right.
Repeat it. So with his Paidousis. Paidousis. It's on line, WWE Network. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's worth seeing it just to see the introduction.
Yeah. So this is a guy, this is a cool guy to me because he did a little bit of everything.
He was legit.
Yeah. He's a legitimate sports background and a name you don't hear too much. So it's nice to kind of bring these names back into the world a little bit, you know? So Mike Paidousis, Eagles practice squad player, former All-American at Tennessee, Golden Gloves boxer, and a guy that accomplished a lot in wrestling. You don't stick around for 30 years if you're not good.
That was a good one, Ian. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Cary. I'm glad we got one. We got a nice fun one that kind of came out of nowhere.
Instead of the surprise geek.
Instead of Ken Colley. If you know who Ken Colley is, please contact us. The information's at the bottom of the YouTube there. So, Cary, that was fun. That was 53. Tomorrow, we're going to face a guy who one of his first matches was in 1939 against Al Costello.
Of the Kangaroos?
Of the Kangaroos. So that's your hint. His nickname was Irish Jack, but he was actually from Australia. So, you figure that one out. And we invite you to figure it out with us tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, every weekday right here on YouTube, 55and5.com. We thank you for watching. And if you're listening on adfreeshows.com, we thank you for listening there as well. For AJ, Cary, I'm Ian. Happy wrestling, everybody.